Have you ever felt like you understand English, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank? You know the words, you know the grammar, but still, something stops you. It feels like you're stuck. Not because you're not smart, but because something is missing. And that something is not talent. It's not intelligence. It's something much simpler and much more powerful. Daily practice. Let me tell you a story. There was a boy just like you. Every day he watched English videos. He understood almost everything. He could even read books slowly. But the moment someone asked him a simple question, "Can you introduce yourself?" he froze. His heart started beating fast. His hands felt cold, and his mind empty. Not because he didn't know English, but because he never used it. He was learning, but he wasn't practicing. And maybe without realizing it, that boy is you. You scroll, you watch, you listen, but you don't speak. You wait for the perfect moment. You tell yourself, "I'll start speaking tomorrow. I'll practice when I feel ready. I'll start when my English improves." But that moment never comes because confidence doesn't come first. Practice comes first. Fluency is not built in one day. It's not built in 1 week. It is built in small daily actions. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Every single day. That's how ordinary people become confident speakers. Daily practice is not magic, but it creates magic. It turns hesitation into confidence. It turns silence into expression. It turns fear into power. Think about your body. If you go to the gym one day, nothing changes. If you go for 1 week, still nothing noticeable. But if you go every day, slowly, silently, your body begins to transform. Your strength increases. Your confidence grows. English works in exactly the same way. Most people don't fail because they can't learn. They fail because they stop. They start with motivation, but they don't continue with discipline. They practice for 2 days, then disappear for 5. They watch videos, but never speak. And then they say, "English is too difficult." But the truth is, English is not difficult. Inconsistency is the problem. There were 2 students who started learning English at the same time. The first one studied for 3 hours in a single day, then didn't touch English for a week. The second one practiced for just 15 minutes every day. Nothing special, nothing intense, just consistent. After 3 months, something interesting happened. The first student forgot most of what he learned. The second student was speaking with confidence. Not perfectly, but clearly naturally without fear. The difference was not talent. The difference was daily practice. You don't need to be perfect to start. You don't need a big vocabulary. You don't need expensive courses. You only need the decision to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when you make mistakes. Because mistakes are not your enemy. They are part of your training. Every mistake you make brings you closer to fluency, closer to confidence, closer to the version of yourself who speaks without fear. And if you simply practice a little every day, something powerful begins to happen. Slowly, quietly. Your hesitation starts to disappear. Your sentences become smoother. Your mind becomes faster. And one day, without even realizing it, you start speaking naturally, confidently, freely. And in the next part, you'll discover how to build a simple, daily practice system that can completely transform your English even if you're starting from zero. The truth is, most people make learning English harder than it needs to be. They wait for the perfect plan. They search for the best course. They think they need hours of free time. But real progress doesn't come from perfect plans. It comes from simple actions, repeated daily. The boy from the story realized this one day. He was tired of understanding everything but saying nothing. Tired of staying silent when he had something to say. Tired of feeling left behind. So he made a small decision. Not a big one. Not a dramatic one. Just a simple promise to himself. I will practice English every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. That was it. No pressure, no complicated routine, just 10 minutes. The first day he sat alone in his room. He didn't know what to do. There was no teacher, no partner, no one to guide him. For a moment he almost gave up. But then he tried something simple. He looked around his room and started speaking. This is my bed. This is my table. I am sitting. I am trying to learn English. His sentences were broken. His pronunciation wasn't perfect. But for the first time, he was speaking. The next day he did it again. This time he added a little more. He talked about his day. I woke up at 8. I ate breakfast. I watched a video. Still simple, still imperfect. But something was changing. His fear was slowly decreasing. Days turned into a week. A week turned into 2. And something interesting started to happen. His mind became faster. Earlier, he needed time to think of every word. Now, words started coming automatically. Not perfectly, but naturally. He didn't stop there. One day, he picked a short English video. He listened to one sentence, paused, and repeated it. Again and again, trying to copy the sound, the rhythm, the feeling. At first it felt strange, but after a few days, his pronunciation improved. His confidence grew stronger. Then he tried something even more powerful. He started thinking in English. Not big thoughts. Not complicated ideas. Just small things. What should I eat? I am feeling tired. I need to complete my work. It felt slow in the beginning, sometimes frustrating. But day by day, it became easier. And then came the moment he never forgot. One day, someone asked him a simple question. Can you tell me about yourself? The same question that once made him freeze. For a second, he felt that old fear again. But this time something was different. He took a breath, and he started speaking. Not perfectly. Not like a native speaker, but clearly, confidently. Without stopping. And in that moment, he realized something powerful. Fluency was never about knowing everything. It was about using what you know every day. That is the power of daily practice. It doesn't shout. It doesn't show instant results. But quietly, it changes you. While others wait, you improve. While others doubt, you grow. And the best part is, anyone can do it. You don't need special talent. You don't need to be good at English. You just need to be consistent. Because small daily actions create big life changes. And if you continue like this, if you show up every single day, there will come a time when English is no longer something you learn. It becomes something you live, something you use, something that becomes a part of you. And in the next part, something even more important begins. Because starting is easy, but continuing, that's where most people fail. and you're about to learn how to stay consistent. Even on the days when you don't feel like practicing, but continuing is where everything changes. Because starting feels exciting. You feel motivated. You feel inspired. You feel like this time, everything will be different. And then life happens. You feel tired one day. You skip practice. The next day you tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week. And slowly, without even noticing, you stop. This is where most people lose. Not because they are not capable, but because they are not consistent. The boy faced the same problem. After 2 weeks of daily practice, he felt proud. But one day, he was tired. He thought, it's just one day. It won't matter. So he skipped. The next day, it felt harder to start again. His mind said, you already missed one day. It's okay to miss another. And that's how the cycle begins. Not failure, but slow disconnection. But something inside him didn't feel right. He remembered how far he had come, how he started speaking small sentences, how his fear had reduced. He didn't want to lose that. So he made another decision. Not a big one. Just a simple rule. Never miss twice. If he skipped one day, he made sure he practiced the next day. No excuses. No delay. And that simple rule saved his progress. Because consistency doesn't mean being perfect. It means coming back. Again and again. Even after you fall. Even after you miss a day. You return. That's what builds real confidence. Not motivation, but discipline. There were days when he didn't feel like speaking. Days when his mind was tired. Days when nothing sounded right. But instead of stopping, he made it easier. On those days, he didn't try to do more. He did less. Just 5 minutes. Just a few sentences. Just a little effort. But he didn't break the chain. And slowly, something powerful happened. Practice became a habit. Not something he had to force, but something he naturally did. Like brushing his teeth. Like checking his phone. It became part of his daily life. And once something becomes a habit, it no longer needs motivation. It runs automatically. That's when real transformation begins. Because now, progress is not dependent on your mood. It continues, no matter what. Weeks passed, then months, and the boy who once stayed silent was now expressing his thoughts, sharing his ideas, speaking without fear, not perfectly, but confidently. And that was enough. Because perfection was never the goal. Progress was. And this is where most people misunderstand everything. They wait to feel confident before they start speaking. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Every time you speak, you build confidence. Every time you try, you grow stronger. Every time you make a mistake, you improve. So if you're waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel perfect, you will wait forever. Because readiness is created through practice, not before it. Imagine your future self, a version of you who speaks English clearly, who expresses ideas without fear, who doesn't hesitate in conversations. That version of you is real. But the distance between you and that version is built with daily practice, not in one big step, but in small steps, taken every single day. And the beautiful thing is, you don't even notice the change while it's happening. It feels slow. It feels small. It feels like nothing is changing. But one day, you look back and you realize you are not the same person anymore. The words come faster. The fear is smaller. The confidence is real. And it all started with just a few minutes a day. So don't underestimate small efforts. Don't ignore simple practice. Because what feels small today becomes powerful tomorrow. You don't need to change your life overnight. You just need to show up today. Speak a little. Think a little. Try a little. And then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Because success in English is not about doing something big once. It's about doing something small every single day. So start now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, speak one sentence, then another. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about perfection. Just begin. Because the moment you start practicing daily, you are no longer stuck. You are moving. You are improving. You are becoming better. And that's all that matters. And if you made it this far, if you truly want to transform your English, then don't just watch this video and forget it. Take action. Starting today, give yourself just 10 minutes. 10 minutes of real practice. Speak out loud. Think in English. Repeat sentences. Do it every day. No excuses. And come back after 30 days. You won't recognize yourself. Your confidence will change. Your speaking will improve. Your fear will disappear. So make a promise to yourself right now. Not a big promise, just a simple one. I will practice English every day. And if you're serious about improving, then subscribe to this channel, English Elevation, because here, you don't just learn English. You build confidence. You build consistency. You build a new version of yourself. Your journey starts today, and your future is created by what you do daily.